Hi everybody and welcome to episode 32. Yeah, it's 32 of my making podcast. My name is Marlene and I'm a knitter, a beginner sewist and spinner from Germany. And yeah, you've clicked on one of my regular podcast episodes. This is going to be jam-packed again. I have not been able to film these videos more regularly since I'm also in between filming loads of vlogs. I've just been to the Swiss Yarn Festival a couple of weeks back, and this upcoming week I'm going to the Woolly Good Gathering in Edinburgh, and I'm incredibly excited. More on that later, but that means that there's always quite a bit of things that I need to touch on, and so I will give you a brief overview of everything that I really want to talk to you all about today, and then it's still going to be primarily knitting related. There's also a cheeky giveaway in this video, as this part of the video is going to be in collaboration and sponsored by notperfectlinen, but I'll get to that later on as well. As you could tell from the title, maybe I'm going to first be talking about what I'm working on at the moment, and then I will talk to you a bit about how I style my knits in spring using my handmade knits and some handmade linen pieces from notperfectlinen. So first of all, before getting into the itinerary for today and doing a bit of housekeeping, as a couple of podcasters like to say, and I really like that saying, it sounds fun to me. A lot more fun than actual housework. But yeah, thank you so much for 10,000 of you deciding to subscribe to this channel. It's mind-boggling to me to imagine this big of a crowd of people. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for the kindness that I'm receiving on such a regular basis from you guys. I very much appreciate this community, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for kind of making this a mostly very enjoyable experience. And thank you to every one of you who has given me a pattern through my Ravelry wish list, and to the group of people who regularly decided to pay for this otherwise free content that I'm putting out on my Ko-Fi. To my regular Ko-Fi supporters, thank you so much. So I hope that you'll enjoy this video today. I'll be talking you through a bit of the agenda. So of course I'll kind of stick to the regular podcast format. We'll be talking about my single finished object, about what I'm wearing as well, about all of my whips, and there's quite a few of them. And then a bit about my sewing. I have one finished sewing object and one in progress sewing project. And then I will be going on to showing you how I style my knits for the spring, as well as my notperfectlinen pieces and how I combine them. Then I'll talk to you briefly about my t-shirt and camisole stash. I have a couple of quantities that I am planning on knitting summer garments with, and that I recently asked if that was of interest to y'all, and a couple of people said yes, so I would really like to show these off. I'm also gonna share some of the finished objects from our cumulus mini cal. I'm wearing my cumulus blouse obviously today, and the cumulus mini cal is wrapping up soon-ish, so at the end of this month technically the cal will be over, though it's a really informal cal, so we'll keep the group open still. I wanted to share some of the beautiful finished objects that folks have been making in our and sharing in our Discord. So, and then I will be talking a bit about the books that I have been reading and enjoying recently. I actually planned on doing that in the last episode, but then it all got a bit much and I decided to postpone it. And yeah, now I really would like to talk about it. And then I've got a few sentences to add to my Woolly Good Gathering trip that's coming up. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I'll have chapter marks linked if you ever want to jump around between the topics, or if anything isn't of interest to you, you can jump ahead. And yeah, let me start with what I'm wearing. This is the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit. As I said, I made it in Esther 20 and the mohair that they offer. Both, I think, should be in color 37 if I'm not mistaken. Everything is, as always, linked in my Ravelry page. And those pages are linked in my description box that you can find by going just beneath the video and then click on show more, or more information should be an option, and then it'll just pop down and you'll have all the information that you'll need, where you can find me, my Instagram, everything like that, and then the projects I'm talking about. If Ravelry isn't accessible to you, you can always send me a message and I'm happy to answer any further questions about the projects that I'm talking about. I had no issues with the pattern or gauge. I pretty much stuck to all of the things that Petite Knit had kind of called for in the pattern, so I didn't really make any modifications with this. The one thing that I was really cautious about doing was trying to not have the I-cord bind offs on all of the parts of the body be too tight, as I had recently, or before last autumn, tested the Kalani blouse for Paisley Knits. That is not yet published. I'm not sure what's going on. We have not received any new information about this. I'm just sure that Cody from Paisley Knits has a lot on her plate when it comes to yarn dyeing already. So I'm sure that's why she has not posted it, because as I'm sure you'll recall, everyone who's been here since then, I really like that design, but it made me aware of not binding off too tightly. In Cody's pattern, there were a few less stitches, I believe, in the I-cord than in this pattern by Petite Knit. But yeah, I was really cautious of not having it be too tight in the bottom area. I'm gonna insert a video as well, because I'm also wearing my finished sewing pattern. I'm wearing the pants from the No Waste pattern book from Brigitte Helmerson. I made it in a 100% linen fabric. A friend bought for us, so we made matching pants, Marla and I, and she got it for us from a European or German page that sells linen, and it's in a moss green color, and I really like it. So yeah, I'm wearing these 2 or 3 green things. I'm actually really enjoying the look of combining different tones of green. And yeah, I'll maybe get more into the sewing projects, or like the more details about my pant sewing project, although there's not actually that much to say about it. It's quite a slouchy, quite a big pant. The crotch could be a bit higher in my, like, for my taste, but otherwise, other than that, I really like it. I like that it's a really clever design. I like the back pockets and that it is a no waste pattern, but I'm sure I'll try some other pant designs as well in the future. I've actually got some lined up here, but yeah, more on that later. My other recent FO, and the actually only FO in this episode, is the Alaska hat by Second Knit. Second Knit, the designer is called Marita Harvey. I've had this hat on my wish list for quite some time. In the end, I just bought it for myself to treat myself because I really like the look of the construction of the top here. It is a 2x2 rib hat. It had I actually started from the top with a Turkish cast on, I think it was called, and I had to redo it like 2 or 3 times because I'd never done it before. And you'll have to knit in pattern immediately after doing the cast on, which was a new technique to me, but I really liked it. I'll for sure be making this again. I really highly recommend this pattern, and also really highly recommend this yarn, although you won't be able to get it right this second, but possibly in another episode, in another collection drop from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. This is the BFL worsted base by Erin, who's Coast to Coast Yarn Co. This was from her Fantasy Coffee House collection that she did 2 rounds of pre-orders for. I've actually collaborated now on the second pre-order round with Erin, and I'm very excited to say that I'm now the first affiliate, affiliate person. Yeah, I'm her affiliate when it comes to Coast to Coast hand-dyed yarn. And so thank you to everyone who ordered from her second pre-order through my link. I was very much appreciated, and I'm so happy that I get to work with people whose yarn really just fascinates me, and that I really love so much. But yeah, going off on a tangent, this is light rose, and as I said, it's the BFL worsted, and I love this base as well. It's quite warm, so, and I'll insert some pictures as well because I don't want to mess up my hair. If it does look any good, it's always you'll never know if like there's just one hair poking out of your head while you're podcasting, and it has definitely happened to me that I was just looking at myself while editing and asking myself why I had not like realized I had like one hair just poking out of the lot. But yeah, so I'll insert some pictures. I love this hat. I don't know what to else say about it. The yarn was brilliant to work with. It's beautiful to look at. It's really warming, and it has a nice fit. It's the perfect hat for me. I gotta say it. It's the perfect hat. I'll make it again. That's it. Really highly recommend all of the things that made this hat what it is. So, Alaska Head by Second Knit in Coast to Coast, BFL worsted in light rose. I'm going to start with my whips. I have quite a few whips, and so I'll try to make it relatively brief and do a bit of a longer update whenever they're finished. But firstly, I wanted to talk to you about my Esther jacket. This is a pattern by Petite Knit, which she published in collaboration or within the archives collection of Esther. I am not using Esther yarn. So the yarn I used is the alpaca by Raincloud and Sage, which unfortunately you're not able to get anymore, but there's quite a few options. As I was actually looking for some yarn in our shop to use, I had multiple options kind of open to me, and I was looking at the different kinds of cream, white, but ultimately I decided on this. So talking a bit more about the pattern, there were 2 problems that I had run into since starting making this pattern. First of all, my cast on, or kind of this seam on the top of the shoulder, is quite tight. I'm not really exactly sure why this happened, but I have steam blocked it now, and it's okay now, but preferably, ideally, there would be a bit more give in it. Other than that, I think it's actually quite nice that it's quite a sturdy seam. So because it's going to be quite a heavy project, it's sport weight held double, which comes out to be about a worsted to Erin weight. It's going to be quite a heavy jacket, and I wouldn't want it, with the way it's supposed to sit, I think, on your body, I wouldn't want it to drape or be too slouchy. So yeah, keep that in mind if you're casting on stitches or picking up stitches, not to do it too tightly. Or I think this was actually the kind of increase row on the top of the shoulder while you're doing the first, like the back panel. Just keep in mind to maybe do this a bit more loosely. The next problem I ran into is that I was finished with the chart repeats, and when it said to knit until X amount of centimeters, I was like half a centimeter short before starting the increases for the armholes. And so I was like, it'll be fine. I didn't want to, I don't know, think about it too much. I maybe stretched it a little and I reached the X amount of centimeters that I was supposed to by stretching it a tiny bit in the back, and I did the same in the front. And since it all has to line up, then all my repeats and all of my panels were about 1/2 centimeter short. So when I first tried it on, it was sitting up really tight in my armhole. So the thing I did then was I steam locked it. I talked to Melanie, my boss, about it, and she was like, I'm not sure if you'll regret that, because it looked really, really tight. So steam blocking helped quite a bit. But then also it seemed like it was kind of tugging in the armhole area a bit. So what I did was I opened it. I just like undid one round, the one where I had joined all of the panels, and I added 4 more stitches under the arms on both sides. So this has 8 more stitches than the size. I think I'm making size medium because I didn't want the whole kind of like 20 something centimeters of positive ease, but more so like 15 centimeters of positive ease, I think it should be. Let me actually check. And so mine just has the size medium plus 8 more stitches for the body, which I think is fine, because I think the pattern underneath the armhole is just this like moss stitch, which isn't continued there, and it doesn't really matter if it has a couple of extra stitches, but it really will help the fit, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm making size 4, which is size medium. So she's added size extra small to some of the patterns. So I'm kind of with this size, oh yeah, I'll achieve with 119 centimeters. I'll have 20 centimeters of positive ease, which I think is totally fine. Usually I'll go for a size large in most of the patterns, although the last 2 petite knit patterns I did size medium as well. I just like a variety of different fits. Sometimes I want something to be really oversized, but if I want it to be a bit more fitted, size medium often works out as well. So yeah, lots of information about this. I just hope it's helpful to see what size different people pick in different bodies, and that can inform your decision on what size to make as well. I'll always have my measurements linked in my description box, like right down on the bottom as well, if you want to know more about it. And yeah, I've joined in around. Now I'll have to work endless amounts of all textured rows, which I have to be in the right headspace for. I'm really looking forward to have this jacket. I actually really would have wanted to have it for Edinburgh, but it's just not realistic. I mean, if I had the whole body finished, I would probably try and attempt to do both the sleeves and the button placket, but no, it's just too much work to try and finish it in like 4 or 5 days. So I'll just slowly work on this. It'll be such a beautiful jacket for more so like colder spring days, and then perfect for autumn and winter as well. So I've got this in my handmade kind of swatch bag, and yeah, I'm really enjoying this project. Next up, in my birthday Manook bag, I've got a project that you haven't seen before, and this is actually also kind of a little sneak preview of a yarn that is coming to Strickverliebt shortly. As you probably saw, I went to the Swiss Yarn Festival and had talked to my boss Melanie about which brands that would be interesting for us beforehand, and so I kind of checked out those booths specifically with kind of, yeah, with an eye for would we like that, how does it look, all of it. And one of the brands that she had told me to keep an eye out for was Vanissia. They are a French company who do vegan, natural, organic knitting fibers, or knitting yarns from fibers that are catered to a lot of summer projects. So this is the ball band. And Mathilde, who is the founder of Vanissia, she was at the booth and she was lovely. We got chatting. I told her about the shop and she immediately gave me some samples to test out, some like mini samples. I thought about it a bit more, texted Melanie about it, and we don't yet have an 100% hemp yarn at the shop. So this was really interesting for us. And when I came back the second day, I thought, let me get a t-shirt quantity for myself, because she had this beautiful caramelly yarn. In the end, she wouldn't let me pay for it. Again, thank you, Mathilde. I'm not sure if she's watching this, but wanted to, of course, flag that this is #@gifted. And she gave me 4 skeins of this. Like I said, I was about to pay for it myself and test it out, because I had a pattern on my wish list and in mind for quite some time. And that is the peacock tee. That pattern again was gifted from one of you lovely people. Thank you so much. And I pretty much immediately had to cast it on, and I've actually made some pretty big progress on it. So this is the peacock tee by Lene Holme Samso, I think is her name. She's called Le Knit as well, or Le Knit. And I played a bit with gauge. So my gauge is pretty much spot on, although I am using the Pernell by Vanissia, which is a fingering weight yarn. Although it comes with 190 meters per 100 grams, which is a bit, yeah, it's not kind of normal, or it's not a usual like length meterage for a fingering weight yarn, but it is. And like I said, it's made from 100% organic hemp flax fibers, and I think it's a 5-ply. And I kind of stretched it to work for this otherwise worsted pattern that Lena has written, and I think it's beautiful. I can see myself wearing this already in the summer. She also had kind of a greeny color that was really speaking to me, so I might have to make another t-shirt in that yarn soon when it comes to our shop. But yeah, I really enjoy this pattern, and like I said, I've come quite a long way with this already. I will add a few more centimeters to make this not too cropped, but actually, as you can see, it already sits. This is the end of my pants, so it's actually already quite long, and I will add just a couple of more centimeters, maybe shorten it by like 2 centimeters from what the pattern calls for, and then add the ribbing, and then add the sleeves. The sleeves are supposed to be kind of like ending before the elbow, which I like as a length for t-shirt sleeves. This is a really like grippy, kind of hard material to work with, not in a way that it's hard to work with, but it obviously feels harder than a merino wool would, but it's really nice to work with. It actually feels quite cooling when you're working with it, and I can already tell that it's going to be perfect for the summer months. So I wanted to get this finished for Edinburgh as well, but now I don't know if t-shirts will be something that I need to bring because Scotland, but yeah, I'll still want to finish it because I actually got another t-shirt quantity for another one of Lena's designs for the palm tee, but I'll talk more about that when I come to my t-shirt stash. So the next pattern that I wanted to talk about is my caramel sweater. This is also made with the, oh, this is very tangled. Let me try and get this untangled. This is also in Coast to Coast Yarn Co. yarn. Let me try and show you. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the raglan increases. I have just cast on with a 2x2 ribbing, I think a German twisted cast on as well. I did not do a double folded collar this time around. I kind of wanted to make another very cozy, very basic stockinette sweater, but with hand-dyed yarn. I already made the Monday sweater by Petite Knit once before with some beautiful Olivia and Oliver yarn. But yeah, now I'm using the Coast to Coast yarn again from the Fantasy Coffee House collection. This is called The Usual, and I'm holding it with the soft silk mohair from Knitting for Olive in colorway trench coat. So this is what the two of them kind of look like together. I am a bit skeptical about how I'm doing with kind of interchanging the skeins. I took this on my trip to Switzerland, to Zurich, and I only had one skein with me for about this much, so most of the progress I only made in one skein. And then I did break the yarn at like 2 points within the first 10 centimeters and reattached it at another point. So if there would have been like kind of repeat in patterning in the speckling, it would have, like, I hoped it would break up a bit so it wouldn't just get like a flash of like darker speckles all over here, because I actually really enjoy the speckling on my Monday sweater, which is very much kind of, I don't know if you call it subdued, but like it's very much scattered all over the piece. And with this, I was a bit, yeah, there weren't a lot of speckles coming here, and then I got quite a few here, but I'm just wondering if I'm kind of overthinking it a bit too much. I have not mastered the way of, what's it called again? Helical knitting. I have not done before, and I'm not sure why I'm like not interested in trying. I mean, I would be interested in knowing how it works, but I wouldn't want as many balls attached to one project and really having to kind of think about it much more than, I don't know, it's supposed to be such an easy and like, just like my stockinette project, my hand-dyed stockinette project, and it makes me a bit, kind of like a tiny bit frustrated that now I really do have to think about it quite a bit, and there's quite a few like ends to weave in already, because I had been changing up yarn a bit to kind of make it look more even. And I'm not even sure, had I not kind of changed it up, would it also have been okay? Like, I'm just not sure. So this has been majorly worked on during my trip, and then I have not worked on it a lot since I've been back. I actually wound up another skein and added that to the rotation. So yeah, it's safe to say that I'm kind of a bit unsure about how to proceed with this project, though I will probably just go on, and if in the end it is something that really bothers me, if I've maybe split for the sleeves and went on a couple more centimeters and I can try it on actually and see that it's something that really bothers me, I'm not opposed to the idea of just maybe ripping back or ripping it out and possibly trying to do a lento, which I think the more open gauge would help the speckles maybe kind of scatter a bit more. It's really difficult for me to explain, because don't get me wrong, I love this colorway so much. I just sometimes am standing in my own way of trying to have everything be perfect, which it cannot be, and then kind of obsessing over small details like this. I asked my partner about it and he was like, I don't see the problem, like not in a what's your problem kind of way, but in like a it looks beautiful kind of way, which was kind of him to say. But yeah, I will have to see how this project goes on. Like I said, it's just a cozy speckled stockinette sweater that I'm working on. This has not been a priority since I've been working on my other two bigger projects a bit more, but I can see myself just slowly working through this and maybe possibly finishing it within May. So yeah, I hope I said everything about this that I wanted to mention, and I hope this didn't come across too negatively. It's just something that I've been thinking through quite a bit, and yeah, I'll have to see what I decide on. If I'll possibly choose another pattern, or if I'll just continue changing up the skeins every once in a while, and otherwise just going with the flow of the hand-dyed yarn, which is awesome as well. So I've got 3 more small projects. The first is in a beautiful handmade and hand embroidered bag by my friend Marla. She gave this to me for my birthday, so I'm very excited for it. This contains my small fry scarf. I don't know why everything has to be so tangled in this episode, but apparently it is. So I've got it untangled now. This is the small fry scarf by Samantha Guerin. I saw this on the Knitting Grace podcast and on the Botanical Knitter podcast, and both versions I really loved, so I had to cast it on as well. There's also currently going on a cowl for this small fry scarf by Samantha Guerin, and I'm making it in the Haya by Holsgarn in this beautiful caramelly color. I'm using a fingering weight, although this calls for a sport, so it'll be a bit more open gauge and a bit more kind of drapey, I guess. But yeah, I've tried to just work a pattern repeat every now and then. Probably gonna put in another repeat today. I'm asking myself whether this is going to be a good pattern to take on my trip next week. So we'll see if I'll take it. And yeah, it's been fun so far. And I think it'll look really nice. Nothing really more to say about it. I hope, again, I'm not missing anything while still staying on track with my timing, because you all know this. These podcasts tend to get quite long, and we don't want it to get too long. Next project is actually the anniversary socks for my partner. I finished one of those. It's in Olivia and Oliver DK sock in the colorway Feather. The contrast color is called Cacao, and yeah, I have finished one sock. Obviously I couldn't keep this a secret, so he has tried it on already and it fit him really well. I already had cast on my second sock and was working on it while walking to work and back and everything like that. It's a perfect walking project for me. Actually, DK socks are just in general. But with the second sock, I don't know what happened. I believe that I was making size 3, which actually I was making size 1. Didn't know how that happened, and I cast it on roughly about 15 too many stitches, and it looked like a baby bonnet, kind of like a baby hat. It was so wide, and it was a bit sad because I had already done the stripes and then realized like right around here that my second sock was going to go in the frog pond, and I ripped it all back, and now it's in here ready to be started again. Again, I've been concentrating on my 2 bigger projects a bit more, but this again could be a nice travel project, something that I could easily start and finish maybe while traveling. So we'll see if this is going to be something that I'll take. We're going to have our 5-year anniversary in May. That's kind of our anniversary month, and so it'll be finished until then. And again, he already knows that he's getting them. He really loves my hand knit socks that I make for him, and so I thought it would be just a really nice gift. I had held on to that sock yarn for quite some time to make some socks for him with. And yeah, moving on to my last work in progress, which is another sock. This is actually a sock for myself. This is a 2x2 rib, 60 stitches. What is this? A magic loop sock in yeah, 2x2, like I said. This is it. I'm trying 60 stitches again because I quite like working with 2.5 millimeter needles as opposed to 2.25. So I thought I'd just go down with stitch gauge, as I had talked about liking how my socks fit, but then in the leg that they can tend to get a bit slouchy. I'm actually wearing some now, and 64 stitches is fine for me. I just wanted to check it out and see if it would be a bit more tight fitting sock, which is nice. This is a sock yarn with yak in it. It was from a woolly, like a yarn market here in Germany. And yeah, I've been really enjoying making these, although I've already, like I also worked on these quite a bit during my trip 2 weeks ago, and then I had not picked them up back again. Again, I think they could be a really good project to take with me on my next trip. Though, yeah, I'm always a bit scared to take metal needles, although I've never had a problem with getting needles taken away from me. But yeah, I wouldn't want to lose my favorite and not cheap ChiaoGoo needles. But yeah, they're on interchangeable cords, so if they would want to take them away from me, I could secure the project, hand them over the needles, and I'm gonna take at least 2 small projects on the trip. So if anyone wanted to take those needles away from me, yeah, it would be sad, but I'm visiting Vanissia, who already offered to lend me some of her needles if I needed some, which is really nice of her. So there won't be any problem with that. I think I'll still be able to knit, which is the most important thing, right? So yeah, that's it. I think when it comes to my my knitting projects, as I said, I'm not yet sure which projects to take, but we'll see. I wanted to talk a bit about my sewing. I've already talked about the pants that I made, and I'm going to insert some footage of the ruby vest fabric that I have already cut out. I've not yet sewn anything together. I'm not sure where the kind of hesitation is coming from, probably because it's a new technique and new things to learn with every sewing project that I'm doing. I would love to wear it really soon, but yeah, I have respect for the problems that I could run within this project of quilting with my machine, as well as kind of knitting 3 layers together, as well as doing bias binding for the first time. And I've gotten quite a few very helpful tools and books and patterns from my mum for my birthday that I asked for, and she very kindly gifted to me, and I'll talk more about this in an upcoming episode. But for now, you'll just know that I finished my no waist pants, and then I'm working on my ruby vest. That's enough for sewing, I think. I'll share more about my concrete ideas for warm weather sewing in another video. And then I wanted to thank you all for your helpful notes and suggestions for sewing patterns, and that I very much appreciate this this back and forth with the community, and that I always feel like I'm learning new things, or that things that have been in my mind before are being kind of repeated, and that makes them make more sense maybe. And yeah, it's very helpful for my process having this back and forth with you guys. So yeah, now I'm going to insert some B-roll of me styling my spring makes and how I dress myself for this season. It's now gotten quite cold again, but we've had some days where I could actually wear sandals and dresses, which was really nice. So these outfits, in a way, I always feel like they're really easy. Just chuck on a dress and put on your sandals and that's it. But then also there were some days like today where it's only about 10 degrees Celsius, or maybe 15, and or maybe it's raining. I'm not going to show you my rain jacket because I don't really feel like that's a very stylish part of the outfit, although if I have to wear it, of course I'll wear it. Yeah, let me just insert some footage of me wearing my hand knits and my not perfect linen pieces. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this kind of styling video. I've not done it in this kind of format before, but I really enjoy sharing how I like to wear my knits. I hope you enjoyed what I put together. About the Not Perfect Linen collaboration, again, I wanted to share a bit more how it all came together. I'd actually seen people wearing and styling Not Perfect Linen pieces quite a bit on Instagram before, especially from the knitting community. There are a lot of women whose style I admire and who've at some point incorporated one or two Not Perfect Linen pieces. And so the final push came for me to order as well when Melanie from Strick Verliebt ordered 2 linen skirts for herself to dress up for spring and combine with her hand knits. It really made me want to have 1 or 2 pieces for myself, and so I ordered the skirt and the pants that you could see, the skirt in the toast color and the PUGLIA pants in, I think it's Redwood. I got both of these items myself, and then on the other 2 items I did collaborate with Not Perfect Linen, and you are going to be able to win a €100 gift card to their online shop. 2 of you will be able to win this. What you'll have to do is be subscribed to my channel and put a comment in the comment section. So just any comment will enter you. Please, if you don't want to be entered, you can maybe say so in your comment. Otherwise, you'll be entered with whichever comment that you're putting underneath the video. You can maybe share about what you like to wear in the spring, how you like to combine your hand knits and hand sewn garments, anything really that contain like that connects to the episode and this giveaway will be entered. And then the other way of being able to possibly win this gift card from Not Perfect Linen will be through subscribing to their newsletter, which ultimately gives you a 10% discount for your first order as well. And then Not Perfect Linen will choose from that group of people. So please remember to subscribe to my channel, to get on their newsletter, and then comment on this video. And through that, we'll both pick one winner each, and they'll be able to get a special piece from the Not Perfect Linen website with that gift card. So I'm really happy to be able to share this. Like I said, I tried them out for myself, bought 2 pieces with my own money, tested them out, saw how the fit worked out, and I was actually gaining confidence through that experience. So when I ordered the 2 second pieces that they kindly gifted and sent to me, I was able to make more modifications, which is something that I would really highly recommend you do. First of all, I think their sizing is good, but you can also, if you're not sure, if you're maybe a bit more like in between sizes, you can send them your own measurements, which I think is brilliant. I asked them to shorten the short, I think it's a Midi Mama dress actually, but I made it a Mini Mama dress. I asked them to shorten that because I like a short dress, as well as I wanted some sort of variety. And then I picked size medium to large for my jumpsuit, but asked them to add 1 centimeter around the hip, since I found the PUGLIA pant that I got for myself to fit a bit snug at that point. The first 2 pieces I just got in a medium to large, which other than the PUGLIA pants being just a smidge, like a midge tight on the like on my hip area. I love the fit of them and I would highly recommend them. But having this experience ordering with them for the first time and then for the second time being a bit more secure in making some adjustments, which I would highly recommend you do if that is something that also interests you. So I hope that I mentioned everything in here. If there's anything else to add, I'll do so in the description box. And if there's any questions that you have, please feel free to ask them. And yeah, thanks again to Not Perfect Linen for collaborating with me on this video, and for offering to send me some wonderful pieces that'll stay in my wardrobe for a long time, I'm sure, and which I love to combine with my hand knit items. Next up will be my t-shirt stash. I'm going to start with a bit older stash and going to move on to a new quantity that I have just acquired for my yarn collection. These 2 quantities are something that I bought last year or even the year before. This is the Pasquale Saphira. I actually bought this at my friend Valentina's yarn store, My Ivory Room in London. I bought this when I visited her, which is funny because Pasquale is actually from Germany and I got it in England. But yeah, this is a virgin wool and silk mixture, 75-25%. I got this while having the camisole number 9 in mind. I have not yet come to make this pattern because I wouldn't say scared, but like I'm not looking forward to it because it has such like intricate details, but I think I would love to wear it. So I'll probably make it if I don't find another fingering weight top or t-shirt that I would like to make more than that. This is another quantity. I'm not sure if I got this at Wollen Berlin in person or if I ordered it from them, but I'm pretty sure I got it from them. This is the Merci by Fulcolana. It's a 50% superwash merino wool and 50% Pima cotton, and it's also a fingering weight yarn. This is a beautiful kind of like cinnamony color, and this is more like a truffle, more so cold brownish gray color, whereas this is a muted warm cinnamony tone. But I think both could work well for camisoles, and this I bought with the camisole 07, like camisole number 7 in mind. So potentially, possibly, these two are going to be camisoles. I actually casted this on once before, but then never finished it. I mean, I had this much just with a provisional cast on and like 5 rows cast on. But yeah, camisoles, maybe it'll just have to get a bit warmer for me to really want to work on camisoles when like sweater knitting really isn't an option anymore. I think I'm just so like in love with knitting cozy things and cardigans and sweaters particularly, that with the weather still being very much spring-like and very up and down, I still have been enjoying working on my warmer garments, and then with the t-shirt in there, the hemp shirt, it has been changing it up a bit. But yeah, these two I've had for quite a bit of time, and I'm still very much looking forward to making the thing that I set out to make with them when I first got them, which is not the case for this cotton merino by Knitting for Olive in the color Slate, which is a black color. It kind of leans a bit bluish. It's cool toned, of course. I wanted to make a cumulus tee with this, but I'm not looking forward to making that anymore. So this is actually in my D stash. If you're interested, I think it's 4 balls of the cotton merino, which you could make a camisole in a larger size with, or a t-shirt in a kind of medium to large size. Check out my D stash. I'm not excited to make anything with this anymore, so I'm letting it go, which is also fine, I think. And next up, I have 200 grams of this 100% cotton yarn that I got from Tante Grøn in Copenhagen when I went there last year. It's a bit over 500 meters, so I was thinking about doing a Nelly top by Spectacle Strick, or maybe a Tolster tee or camisole whenever they come out, like a Tolster top with it. I've actually got some fluff on my tongue. So yeah, I wasn't sure about this again, but I thought it's just 2 balls, like it's just 200 grams of yarn. Even if I don't make something with it this year, I can still hold on to it for next year. So this was a maybe yarn, but because it's from one of my travels and it's not something that I can get easily here, like the Knitting for Olive, if I ever feel like, oh, maybe I do want to make something with it, I can easily get it, whereas this is more of a special item. So yeah, possibly a black top in my future. I'm not wearing as much black anymore, and I'm really happy about being out of that era. For I feel like 15 years I had just been wearing so much black, and I'm very like happy to have found my colors, kind of, which is also something that for my last From Stash t-shirt quantity is something that I'm thinking about, because it's this beautiful Sea Change Fibers yarn. It's the Swale fingering, which actually has 190 yards, which is something about like 450 to 80 meters, not exactly sure, per 100 grams. And this is American Merino and Rambouillet and cashmere. I don't have a lot of cashmere in my stash, to be quite frank. This is a beautiful fingering weight, and I could totally see myself making the plan I had set out to make for it with it still. This I got at Flock Fiber Festival, and I wanted to make a mini mock neck by Jessie Made Design with it. But still, whenever I'm thinking about blue, it just doesn't excite me as much. And you'll probably remember the chronicles of having this Sorella Oopsie yarn in my stash, which was also a lilac leaning blue, and eventually I de-stashed it. So this is a maybe. I still want to make the mini mock neck, just lengthen it a bit. It looks like something that I would really enjoy wearing, and a merino, Rambouillet and cashmere mix would be really lovely in it. I'm just not sure if I will gravitate towards using this for it. So possibly I can see myself also de-stashing this sometime in the future if it really doesn't call for me, speak to me, which is sad because it's my only purchased from Sea Change Fibers, and I really love their stuff. But I could also see myself just using the Pasquale Saphira to make a mini mock neck instead of a camisole number 9. So yeah, it's all a bit up in the air still. But I feel like with a couple of concrete plans and then a couple of up in the air plans, that's all right. I don't have to decide everything right now. My last t-shirt quantity is actually something I just acquired yesterday. At my last day working at the shop, I have a week off work starting today from the shop, and I have been looking at this yarn and swooning over this yarn for quite some time, and I wanted to wait for some new colors to come in, because there was a rusty and like an orangey color supposed to come in for this yarn, and I was in love with the rust color. Now I got the Pernell by Natisea. I wanted to get another color, so this was my second choice. The rust color now my friend Mala has got, and so we're gonna make matching t-shirts, which I think is the second best thing to like getting yarn for yourself, is having a friend get it for themselves, knitting it up, and then being able to look at them in their beautiful hand knit garment. I think that's wonderful. This is a khaki color. I think it'll really look nice with all of my linen pieces that I already own, and with some of the stuff that I'm planning on making. At this time, this is, let me probably start with what this is. This is the Husarius Quattro Alfama from their eco-friendly collection. This is 100% linen. I thought this would also make such a perfect, like really warm weather piece, especially if I'm walking around in the shop all day and working. I think having like 2-3 t-shirts that are like really appropriate for warm weather will be really nice. And I'm thinking about doing the Palma tee by Lene Holme Samso with this. It'll look really similar to my peacock tee, but I just love the way that these t-shirts look. I don't know why, but I'm otherwise not as much of like a romantic like piece lover. I'm very much more so kind of, I would say like granola girl aesthetic really speaks to me, but then also more so maybe a bit more sporty or like clean lines, a bit more basic, not very romantic to say the least. But these kind of romantic looking pieces just speak to me. I don't know why. I hope this does make sense. You get a light bulb marker with each skein that you get, and I actually had to get 6 skeins because this is only 50 grams. This is my one criticism with this yarn. I think they should offer it in 100-gram skeins, because kind of joining ends, like having to tie ends together in a linen piece won't be very fun, and you'll possibly see it in the finished up garment. Otherwise, this is such a bargain yarn. I really love that we have it at the shop. This is only $4.95, so I got basically a t-shirt quantity for under 30 euros, like 25 euros possibly, which I think is super, super affordable for a handmade 100% organic linen t-shirt. So really looking forward to that. It's the only thing that I have recently bought for myself yarn wise, not talking about the yarn that I got at the Swiss Yarn Festival, which I've already showed you guys in my kind of Swiss Yarn Festival roundup video. So that's my t-shirt quantity yarn wrapped up. Really excited for these plans coming up this warm weather season. And yeah, like I said, if you want to check out my D-stash, I'll have it linked in the description box. And yeah, I just think it's an awesome option to sell or gift yarn if you're not excited to work with it anymore. We also do it at our local knitting group quite frequently, and we'll do it again in a couple of weeks. But yeah, if anyone wants to check out that or buy something off my D-stash, we could do that. I've had really good experience with it, and I've shopped from D-stashes myself as well. Next up, something that I forgot to mention at the beginning of this episode is that unfortunately the person who won this Pigeon and Wishes button set has not contacted me, so I have drawn another winner. I'll link this person here. If this is you, please contact me again, either through my Instagram or the email address that will be linked in the description box down below. I have waited since the last video gone live, which is now like 2 or maybe even 3 weeks ago, and since the original winner has not contacted me, I felt the need to draw another winner. I hope you'll enjoy these, and I'll send them out to you if you contact me. Otherwise, I won't know what to do. I'll redraw again, I guess. Next up, I wanted to share a bit more about the Cumulus mini cow, which is soon-ish coming to an end. As I said, I'm wearing my Cumulus blouse and I'm loving it. And I wanted to highlight some of the makes right here that some of the people from our Discord have been sharing. These are all finished objects that the incredible people in this group have knitted up. And this is so far the pictures that have been shared on there. I previously, at the beginning of this cow, asked for permission to share the pictures on my podcast, and I hope everyone is happy to see their makes featured here. It was a really great experience, and I'm looking forward to possibly host more cows on Discord. I found it really nice to every once in a while, like maybe once or twice a week, just jump on there and just kind of cheer everybody on, and like maybe ask a question and then have a lot of people help and answer the question. It just felt really nice and communal, and then sharing the makes in a photograph, even the whips, it just felt like you weren't doing it on your own, which I think is the whole purpose of doing knit alongs or make alongs in the first place. So I hope you all enjoyed these beautiful finished objects, Cumulus blouses, Cumulus tees that people from this community have made. Thank you so much again for taking part in that cow, and as it was such a positive experience, I'm looking forward to making it again, possibly thinking about also kind of opening up another Discord server just of my own, because this one, my friend Julia, who she was the co-host of is the co-host of the cow, it's still going on. Don't you worry. We said it's going to be going from March to April, and since we're like nearing the end of April and my next video will be a vlog, I wasn't sure if I could say thanks and feature these pictures before the official end, but we'll keep the channel up, like open for a bit longer. But yeah, let me know if you find that that's a good idea. I know my friend Vanissia is doing it, and I think she's like had a really good experience with having a separate account to kind of her YouTube, to just communicate and engage a bit more with people from this community. So yeah, let me know if that's something that would interest you as well. And then I've got some books to talk about. So some of the books I've been reading recently. First of all, I've been listening to Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. This has been recommended to me by a couple of kind of other yarny people on my Instagram who also enjoy reading. It is a beautiful book. I love that Meryl Streep, I think, is reading it, which I think she has a beautiful voice. It's just been a bit slow, and I've not always felt very engaged to listen to the book. It's been great to listen to while being on longer drives with the car. I always like to listen to something then, and sometimes in the evenings I also like to listen to it. I'll give you more of a rounded up review of it whenever I actually finish it. But yeah, that was one of the books that I've been recently and currently reading. Another book I've actually finished is The Years by Annie Ernaux. Annie Ernaux is, I could say, one of my favorite authors of all time. I really loved her books, Shame and Happening, that I read before this one. And with this book, I feel like it's kind of like a collage of life. It's like a document of space between 1940 up to the 1990s, and it combines and intertwines history and feminism and cultural happenings, big and small, and her own life lived through her journals and pictures that were taken of her. And she like really finds a way of intertwining it with whatever happens in society at the same time. And I felt like, even though some of the pop cultural references I did not understand because I did not grow up in France, this really, again, it spoke to me. I have so many pages where I've kind of marked something to maybe come back to and read again. And just as Shame and Happening, I just felt like it was such a authentic and just such a true way of describing life. It's really difficult to explain, but I really highly recommend you read, if you haven't tried reading any of her books before, maybe start with Shame or The Years. Happening is quite difficult to read at some points, but also really important, I think. And yeah, it's a very special thing to read. I don't know if I'll be able to explain it anymore. I find it actually quite difficult to summarize books in a short and very precise way. I just really wanted to share how much I loved reading all of her books, and that I just recently finished The Years. Other than that, I'm just currently reading The Paper Palace by Miranda Cowley Heller. I'm about a third through this book. I just recently got it on a weekend where Hannes and I were going to grab a coffee in the city, and then went on to go to one of the bookstores that we like to go to. One of the sentences on the back is saying, "The writing seems to drip with secrets and longing. You can't help but be just drawn in." And this is really what I feel with this book as well. I'm really drawn to the story. I don't yet feel like I can summarize this book in a really precise way, but it's essentially a intergenerational book, which I really like. So the main character, a woman in her, I think 40s or 50s, she has kids ranging from like middle school or like preschool to teenagers, so I think she's around that age, who's kind of stuck between her all life, like childhood love, and her husband that she also loves. So yeah, this is kind of a romantic novel, but also drama read that I've been really enjoying, that I really looked forward to reading whenever I get to bed at night. I've really been trying to stay a bit more consistent again with reading at night and spinning in the mornings, because otherwise knitting just takes over everything. And since I do also enjoy my spinning and reading time, I'll try to just, even if it's just 15 minutes, I try to kind of have that space, the last 50 minutes before I go to sleep, and like the first 50 minutes when I just made my coffee in the mornings, to kind of just secure that time for these things as well. And the last book I wanted to mention is Bread Song by Kitty and Al Tite. I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name. The undertitle is How Baking Changed Our Lives. And this is a book that I asked for my birthday, and my mom kindly gave it to me. Yeah, I've read about like 20 pages just yesterday, and it really got to me. It's the story of how at some point Kitty, who's the youngest daughter of Altite, just as a kid just shuts down, has a, you could say, mental health crisis in the family. She just loses her, like, she just gets really anxious relatively all of a sudden, in a way that I felt like I could connect to, in a way, having had some of these experiences myself as a kid. But with her, it didn't stem from being bullied and not being great or integrated in a great way in school, or not living in a loving family. We just get a sense of it just all happened very abruptly. And then they tell the story of how baking was kind of the last straw that she grabbed onto, and then what came out of that, in a way. I hope I'm kind of, yeah, like I said, I'm only like 20 pages into it, but I'm already very, very much, they already got me. Let's just say that. There's also, so the first part of it is kind of like an autobiographic book, and then there is the whole second part is recipes. And as you maybe know, I'm a baker myself, a hobbyist baker, and I love to bake. And so I'm really looking forward to make some of these beautiful recipes. I just flicked through it yesterday, and I'm really excited to make some of these bready goodness, like, yeah, lots of really, really nice recipes. So another book that I've been really enjoying reading recently. And that actually brings me to the last point of today's episode, which again, I hope you enjoyed. I just wanted to mention again how excited I am for the Woolly Good Gathering in Edinburgh that I'm attending next weekend. I'm also very excited to visiting and meeting Vanissia for the first time in person. We've actually been chatting and FaceTiming quite a bit, and I've prepared a little cheeky shopping list for any yarny purchases that I want to do or want to make in that time. So I have kind of a guideline of what I would really like to get. Is, for example, an Aran weight Scottish yarn quantity for a cardigan, is possibly some Kinross 4-ply fingering weight for a basic, maybe long sleeve Tolster, to kind of make a ultra Creabea inspired pattern, some fabric from Merchant Mills that I think that Ginger Twist Studio is offering. So I've kind of made a whole shopping list of things that I potentially see myself getting. We're also planning on visiting the new Lanark Mill, where I have kind of highlighted and favorited some Aran yarn as well. I've also gotten a quantity of pure silk for Vanissia to bring as a kind of hosting gift, and I'm really looking forward to give that to her, because I think she's planning on making a blouse number 1. And yeah, to not make this episode too long, I just wanted to say that Vanissia and I are planning to possibly do a little meet up. So if you're in Edinburgh throughout this weekend, next weekend, and have any interest in meeting up with us, doing a little in-person knit and chat, please let me know. Either send me a message or comment in the comment section down below. Vanissia and I are currently planning a bit more about how to kind of execute that. If probably we're going to reserve a table in a pub to meet up after the Woolly Good Gathering, or maybe even throughout the day meet up at a coffee shop. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, please let me know. And also, if you've got any questions for Vanissia and I to answer, any topics that you would like us together to talk about, we're planning on filming a video for Vanissia's channel when I get there. So please let me know if there's anything that you would like us to talk about. And of course, I'll be filming a vlog about the whole experience that I'll be uploading to this channel as always, as you're now come to know through what I put up here, I really enjoy vlogging these happenings and kind of retelling my experience of them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode of my making podcast. I hope you get loads of knitting and crafting time this week, and that you'll spend some time with people that you love, that you can take care of yourselves and those around you. And happy knitting, guys. See you next time. Bye.